Back in the early days of the NFL through the 1920s and 1930s, uniforms, they were simple and sturdy. Players wore wool or heavy cotton, often with leather helmets that weren't even required. There were no fancy logos or marketing campaigns, just team colors stitched into thick fabric that soaked up mud and rain. Helmets, they didn't become standard until the 1940s. And colored television, still, it was pretty far off. Back then, uniforms, they were about survival, not style. And that started to change as the league grew into the television era. By the 1960s and 70s, teams realized that how they looked was part of how fans remembered them. The Dallas Cowboys, they were silver and blue. The Packers, green and gold. It became timeless. And as TV picture quality improved, strong color contrast became team trademarks. What folks saw on their screen began to shape how they thought about the team itself. Then came the 80s and 90s when marketing started driving design. Jerseys, they became part of a city's character. Fans, they didn't just cheer for players anymore, they wore their names. In 1994, the NFL celebrated its 75th anniversary with throwback uniforms, a nod to the league's roots. For the first time, players suited up in replicas of the early jerseys that their franchises had worn decades before. It was a mix of history and showmanship, and people loved it. That season, jersey sales jumped by nearly 30%, and the league learned that nostalgia could sell as well as newness. In the 2000s, that mix of heritage and hype, it grew wicked strong. Alternate uniforms began showing up in primetime games, and Thursday Night Football rolled out the Color Rush series, with teams dressed head to toe in one bold shade. All red, all blue, or even bright yellow. It was a little bit of a nightmare for those with colorblind deficiency issues, but it was kind of like moving highlights across the screen. It wasn't just fashion, it was visibility. And during the Color Rush era, which started in 2015, NFL merchandise sales rose almost 10% year over year. In some clubs like the Seahawks and 49ers, they saw their alternate jerseys outsell the normal ones 2-1. Now, by the 2020s, technology and marketing have blended completely. Fabrics got lighter, ventilation improved, and the rules changed. Teams could finally wear alternate helmets again, ending the one shell rule. It was really old, and it limited creative designs for many years. The NFL expanded from 3 to 4 alternate uniform options each season, giving teams room to mix both nostalgia and innovation. And around the same time, fans demanded retro and limited edition jerseys, and that drove NFL licensed merchandise sales to more than $5 billion annual. Today, the Dallas Cowboys, the Raiders, the Buffalo Bills, they consistently rank near the top of jersey sales in the entire world. And that's where this weekend's game fits in. The Buffalo Bills cold front design, it isn't just a color change. There's a story there. It ties together what Buffalo is known for: the cold, the grit, the determination, and it turns that into something that players actually wear. The all-white uniforms, silver accents, and fan-driven whiteout. It's meant to turn the stadium into a living snowfield, a reflection of both the weather and the hard-working spirit of Western New York. From leather helmets to chrome face masks, anniversary tributes to blackout nights, uniforms have always been more than fabric. They're a true reflection of the game and the people who fill the stands. These are Interesting Things with JC.